All right, guys, this is Norvell Central coming back at you with another YouTube video. And at this time of the recording, I have about 1,900 subscribers. So I really do appreciate all the love and support so far on these videos. Be sure to hit that subscribe button because it is completely free. And also be sure to hit that bell notification so that way you can be notified every time that I do make a video. But enough with the self-promotion. Let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Mike Norvell is the king of the transfer portal, in my opinion. I think he has solidified his needs in the transfer portal to a point where it is no longer just taking the best available prospects and just trying to put them into a roster that fits. No, he is trying to take prospects from the transfer portal to solidify a need at whatever position it may be. Now, granted, this doesn't sugarcoat anything about recruiting because I do think there are certain aspects of the staff that do need to close in certain aspects. But when you're looking at it on the flip side, some of those recruits are probably not going to be ready until year 2 or year 3. So you do need those transfer prospects that are coming in with ready college experience, that have the collegiate experience ready for strength and conditioning programs and et cetera, that have that experience to make sure that you can go from being a 9 regular season win team to a potential ACC championship team with no divisions. So I really do think there is both sides of the flip coin. I mean, you can look at it both ways. I don't really think the transfer portal is necessarily a band-aid. Every team needs some transfer portals here and there, even in Alabama that's trying to reload on some of those prospects that they have. But you also have to have a firm recruiting ground, and I think that's where Florida State's trying to find a happy medium. So, of course, when you're looking at some of the prospects they have brought in, I do think they do have a really good class in terms of 17 prospects. I always knew this was going to be a smaller class, but like I said, I know that they didn't close on a couple of those prospects. When you're bringing in 7 quality transfers, I mean, you got a top 10 transfer just yesterday in Braden Fisk. And I think this is a situation where at the defensive tackle spot, with Fabian Lovett being kind of on the edge with whether it be staying with the Seminoles for 2023 or going to the NFL. He does have a smaller child that does have some health issues, and he's trying to figure out everything. And I understand. I mean, as a father, you have to really understand that where he sits with a lot of these different things. You have to understand that his life is, a little bit more important just trying to figure out how to provide for his younger son. So it's just going to be really exciting to see how he figures all of that out. You got a Jared Verse that's also going to be trying to weigh his future and everything like that. So, I mean, getting 2 defensive tackles to kind of replace that production with Fabian Lovett if he does so leave, and you also have a Robert Cooper who's graduating as well, I think that's very important to see how everything factors in. But when you have Fisk and you also have Darrell Jackson from Miami, I think that's very important with everything going there. You have 2 tight ends. Everybody talks about Mike Norvell and the tight ends and why do we need 6 and why are we doing this and why are we doing that? But when you're bringing in Morlock and also Jaheim Bell, I think both of those guys really have varying skill sets that, like Bell, he's a receiving threat. You don't really know much about his blocking, but Kyle Morlock is a successful blocker and can be more like that inline tight end. You can never have too many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's where Mike Norvell kind of talks about everything. Jaheim Bell is more so he can be that slot receiver, tight end, running back, whatever you need him to be, he's going to be in that offense. And on the goal line with Kyle Morlock, if it is a White Rector's last year, Cam McDonald's gone from this past season. He's really the only proven tight end that Florida State's had in the last couple of seasons. Sure, Marquise Douglas has actually shown a lot of promise, and I think he will be an excellent player, but I want to see more production out of some of these tight ends that we have, and you just haven't seen it. So it's better to go ahead and get this talent now, being able to bring those guys in and really have them ready to go starting in the summer and getting those guys ready to go for fall camp. Then you turn around to the offensive line. You had Dylan Gibbons and you also had Demetri Emmanuel that are both going to be exceeding their eligibility. I believe Emmanuel is trying to get a waiver again to be able to play another season. We'll see how that plays out. I don't really expect it to happen, but it's always worth a try. I mean, you got Casey Roddick, who's a interior offensive lineman from Colorado. He's played in several games. He was a captain. I think he's somebody that they really liked in terms of experience. Then you go over to a UTEP offensive tackle, Jeremiah Byers. He could play guard or he could play tackle. He mainly played right tackle at UTEP, was an all-conference mention, and he was a guy that Florida State really, really liked. And, of course, the transfer portal really liked him because he was a top 6 transfer prospect. And then you got Keandre Jones, a reserved, but he was able to start last season for a Power 5 in Auburn SEC school that I think was pretty successful. I think last year was kind of a struggle for him trying to figure out everything. New coaching staff was leaving and everything like that, and he's just trying to find his footing. Auburn struggled at times, and it wasn't just him, it was the whole team basically. So I want to see how he kind of develops. He's a little bit more of a size. He's 6'4", 340 pounds. We'll see where his weight goes throughout the rest of the spring and into the fall and everything like that. But just really excited because, I mean, Florida State got 7 transfers that really are really good. I mean, you look at a Fisk, he's a top 10 transfer. Byers is a top 10 transfer. And then you got Jaheim Bell, who was also a top 10 transfer. And you're not only this, you still have more transfers that you're probably going to get. I mean, you look at a Ventrell Cypress, the Virginia cornerback transfer prospect. I talked about him in previous posts that I had on my Instagram account. His PFF grade is an 88. I mean, that is about as high as you can get in terms of cornerback. He's like the 6th best cornerback in the country in terms of PFF grade. He did a really good job in pass defenses. I think he had about 14 pass defenses last season. You know, did not have an interception, but he played his best season last year with the Virginia Cavaliers team that kind of struggled last year. And I think that cornerback is really a need for Florida State going forward. I mean, you saw the up and downs of Amarian Cooper and and I think Kevin Knowles is a very good talent as well. Cooper is also one of those guys that I think could be really, really special. But to have more competition in that room always means better. I mean, you look at the other side as well with Jerry Jones, as a quality reserve, played a little bit last year, but starting wise, you got a Jamie Robinson that's going to be out and possibly with the NFL. And you're just trying to find different options to be able to replace those guys, kind of like what you did with Fabian Lovett. But I think overall, if you're able to get Cypress, man, this will be a slam dunk for Mike Norvell. And already having a #1 recruiting class in terms of transfer portal, I think it's very impressive to see how they're going to kind of go through everything. But I really do appreciate all of the love and support. And as always, go Noles.